Two things hit me when I read Blue Period. First, Bob Ross is really going to love this one, but then I kept reading and realized, oh no, he's dead and this story is just way too real. Blue Period is a story about normal people trying to chase down their dreams and showing just how difficult it is to do it, even if you are the main character, Yatora Yaguchi. The first time we meet Yatora, he's drinking with his friends underage doing normal things. At school, he's near the top of his class, not because he's smart, but because he works harder than everybody else and he's told it's the only way that he will survive. He doesn't smoke because he wants to, he does it to fit in because it's what his friends do. Every feeling and emotion that he shares with people doesn't feel like his own. There's always something missing. He knows that every emotion that he expresses is a lie that he uses to make everybody else feel better. But there has to be a way. Some way to feel like there's something in his life worth living for. Yaguchi is on the same path to becoming another salaryman living to work that just about every other Japanese student is on. And deep down he knows that. He knows that everything that he does in his life isn't actually what he wants. It's what people expect from him. Get into college, make money, live as safely as you possibly can and never take a single risk. His family is poor, so he knows just how much he needs to support them. He thinks that anybody that takes risks or follows their dreams is just acting without thinking. Dreaming is for kids. What's the point in any of this if I'm not going to make any One painting later and suddenly Yatora gives up on everything he's ever been told so that he can risk it all following a dream that he's only just discovered to become the Japanese Bob Ross. Oh shit, there actually is one. This is one of those first chapters that can actually have an effect on you simply because of how real it is. It doesn't create a disconnect with the reader by giving everyone superpowers and creating an unrealistic world, but takes real life situations and creates a scenario that makes you think, oh, I've been here before, I've felt these things as well. Reading it makes you more aware that you aren't alone in wanting to chase something that you love to do, that other people feel that same way, that other people are too afraid to actually take the first step at all.
Most men live lives of quiet desperation. It's one of my favorite quotes ever because it's true. And I've been that guy.
It is a story that genuinely makes you take a step back and look at where you are and what you are doing. Do you want to fall in line and live a stable and uneventful life that's going to slowly play out until you're allowed to retire? Or do you want to take one massive chance and put everything you have on the line and know that you at least gave it your all? The story mainly follows people that all know what they want and where they want to go, but it also shows the other side. The side where people struggle with not knowing what they want to do. Where they give up on their dreams and slowly come to realize what they've actually passed up on in the first place. What do you say to a friend when they break down right in front of you?
No! Mr. Johnson! Don't say it! Quick! Pull the power before he says anything hurtful to the main character's friends!
It doesn't
Quick!
Oh my god, that was a close one. Yatora has dropped every other option in his life in order to pursue art, knowing that he's leaving behind the choice of a more stable future. Now, was he actually good at art in the first place? Fuck no, he's actually really bad. What the story does is show you just how much he wants it, continuously trying and improving at something that he's truly passionate about. He puts so much time and effort into trying to get better, remembering how he was never really good at school in the first place. But he knows that he can work harder than anybody else around him. He just needs to put more time into this than anybody else can. So do we get a super cool training montage at the end? No, Blue Period follows every single part of Yatora's journey and documenting the amount of work that he puts in early on, obviously resulting in there being a massive jump in his ability within the first few months of him starting out, showing exactly just how much you can actually improve on your own if you just stop watching self-improvement gurus for 6 hours every single day.
Knowledge.
Showing you just how much you can actually do if you just put your mind to it, how much you can actually change your life. It shows you just how little the world around you cares about how hard you work or the amount of time you spend on something. Yatora may be able to outwork everybody else, and if this is any other anime or manga ever made, then he could just work his way to the top, but nah. That is not how the real world works, and that's not what this story is all about. Hard work has always been a main character's secret weapon, but the terrifying reality is that if you take all that effort to the real world, you can never be guaranteed to get results. Hard work has its limitations, and Blue Period reminds you of how terrifyingly unfair the real world and especially the creative world is once you try to take matters into your own hands. It reminds you that you can do as much as you want and still come up short in the end. That the only person you have to rely on is yourself. You can progress and become massively skilled at one thing, but if you miss your one chance, then that's it. You can see this in all the characters that make up Yatora's night classes that are on their 3rd, 4th and 5th chances at trying to pass an entrance exam, only to fail time and time again, having to accept the fact that maybe they just can't cut it. You can see how difficult it is for them to accept it and how everyone else around them realizes that as well. The story drives home the fact that, hey, it's great that you're able to change so that you can meet requirements, to work hard, to pass exams. It's great that you can do all of these things, but if you don't have a clear direction, goal or idea of what you're trying to achieve while while you do all of this, then none of that matters whatsoever. What's the point of it all in the first place? Being able to make something that looks good and is cool to look at is a great thing to be able to do. But if what you're looking at just looks good and doesn't invoke anything else, then why does it exist at all? And these are just some of the mental sides of hard work that the story really dives into, which is something that a lot of shonen series will never actually show you. It's an entirely human struggle where in practice in a lot of these other types of media, hard work is great and can lead to a lot of amazing things, but here it makes you question, are you actually working hard to become the best version of yourself or to just become good? Art has always been separated by what creators put into their piece and what they express, and Yatora initially gets into art because of how it makes him feel, but somewhere along that line he gets so caught up in working hard and trying to make everything look better on the surface that everything he then creates begins to lose any real feeling that it had in the first place. They are made to be good pieces, but then he starts to lose any emotion that he has behind them, resulting in a lot of questions popping up in his head. What is the meaning behind everything that you're actually doing? Have you forgotten why you even started in the first place? There are thousands that are just the exact same as you. Did you really think that you could just become better than any of them? Do you not realize how much everyone wants it as well? Did you know that paper straws actually can't be recycled? Did you know that whales are capable of shooting up to 20 liters of thunder juice every time they... No, me neither. At one point he shows every piece of art that he's made and is proud of to one of his professors, only to be told, you know, what the fuck is the point of any of this shit? Resulting in his entire world and perception of everything around him to fall apart, falling back into his old ways, not drawing, going out every single night, until one of his friends just slaps some sense back into him. You could be working on something for years but never know if you're actually truly good at it. You even begin to question your own ability, and why did you even start this in the first place? Sounds stupid? Yeah, it does. Sometimes you can't tell if what you make is actually good. You know that your work is your work, and that's the only way that you will ever perceive it. You can see the differences and minor changes between each piece, but it's really difficult to determine what actually makes one better than the other. I know that I've made videos that are bad and some that are less bad, but I can't actually define what makes one better than the other apart from how people react to them. And Blue Period highlights this, constantly having characters face these problems. You see Yatora try to assess where he is, but all he can ever do is see his work as just his work, only being able to point at what he has done wrong or the times where he's felt more expression from what he has done. He's constantly out of his depth and reminded of that every single time, from the moment that he starts out right up until the point where he thinks that he's finally caught up to everybody else, only to realize that he's more out of his depth than ever. These are some of the very real issues that you and Yatora have to face and accept. You see him come to terms with remembering how far behind he is and trying to figure out, did he even like art in the first place? What direction is he going to go in? You see other characters face these same struggles. You could be as skilled as they come and still find a way to crumble underneath all of the pressure that you put on yourself to live up to expectations. It doesn't matter who's further behind or ahead of you because everybody faces these same problems. And at that same time, everyone is envious of the problems that other people have. Yatora wants to be as skilled at art as Yotasuke, but Yotasuke just wants to be able to survive in the world as good as Yatora does. It's this realism that the entire story creates that is the most terrifying and also the most addictive thing about this whole series. By showing you that your hard work or your skill doesn't mean shit in real life, that everybody has different problems and sometimes even the same, by showing you its characters struggle with what they love, but then it decides to go just a little bit deeper and take you home with them so you can see what causes it all. Blue Period would just be another coming of age story if all it ever gave to us was people struggling with what they want. But the most impactful things that it does give to us come when it decides to focus in on a single character and show just how much they are struggling with life. How, while they are regarded as highly skilled artists, they have to face an even greater struggle at figuring out who they are and why they're even alive in the first place. And yeah, we've seen this fucking shit before. The way each of their conflicts are presented and mixed in with the rest of the story feels more believable and more natural than most other attempts at this sort of narrative. To explore all of these characters, the story uses a clueless Yatora to interact with each of them as a way to build them up and to also gain an understanding of what goes on inside of their heads. They are massively complex characters in their own way, but Yatora has no idea what they have to go through and neither do we. And it's only when you and your friends strip down and draw pictures of each other naked that you can fully understand, okay, so I know what you're thinking and it's really not like that. This allows the story to give us two extremely similar but different characters in Yutasuke and Yuka, who both are insanely high level artists in their own way, both coming from family situations and environments that have had a huge impact on them, and both shows exactly why they act out or struggle with trying to fit into the world that they live in. They initially come into the story acting like your basic sundays, but then you get dropped into their lives and see exactly what has made them who they are, building them up as actual people with their own problems and internalized struggles that they have have to deal with, that Yatora learns about, as well as having to watch them try to establish themselves as artists in the real world at that same time. This makes all of the characters in Blue Period feel that bit more authentic, like people that you've actually come across at one point in your life. You can relate to them, you can share with their experiences, and ultimately it reminds you of how lost everyone else is in their lives and how a lot of the time reality just isn't going to be fair. Holy shit, that was fucking cringe. Starting something new was never going to be easy. You're always going to meet people that make you feel like you're miles behind them. Everyone feels lost when they first go to college and you're always going to have to struggle to move forward in life. This is what Blue Period does best. It breaks down its characters. It shows just how unfair life is and how hard it is to try and break into a world that is so competitive and cutthroat. It's just good. Hi, my name is Ben. Thanks for watching the video. Like, subscribe, and bye.